does bring people from the outside fringes into your medium.
So you hear it on the show, and maybe you want to go see it again or go experience it. You can watch it now and just catch some of the action that goes on during the show.
The primary benefit is that it deepens the engagement. That those fans that you do have, they are pulled in tighter, and you essentially got your arms wrapped around them in a bear hug.
The sleeping fools of an enemy. She me never wanted a legacy, no.
The difference back in the day, I mean, when I first started, it was you talked to the audience. You learned how to communicate. Right? It was more about you being that, talking to that person in the car. So back then, you communicated on a one-on-one basis, even though you might have had hundreds of thousands of people listening to you. And when they wanted to talk back, they simply picked up the phone and called you. Today, you've got the phone, you've got the radio, you've got the internet, you've got text, you've got Twitter, you've got, Facebook, you've got all of these things all operating at the same time.
Things have changed immensely. I mean, I learned how to cut tape with a razor blade back in the day. We didn't have records when I started. I'm not quite that old, but it was all cards. And so instead of the electronic scenario that we have now where it's all touchscreen, you had to actually physically turn around, grab a card, shove it in a machine, and press play. You had to have everything lined up and ready to go. Not unlike you have to have it lined up and ready to go now. It's just coming out of a different portal, if you will.
The biggest difference for me is it's a lot more entertainment driven as opposed to just numbers. Whereas it used to be stats, it used to be highlights, you'd go right to post-game sound. Now it's a lot more debate, it's a lot more, what Daily News Live has been doing for a really long time. You see a lot of that element now on ESPN with some of the shows that they use. It's like a lot more of it is debate, and it's a lot more interactive now. With social media, you'll take the tweets. You can even tweet your favorite play of the night, that kind of thing. I think it's a lot more interactive and gives the fans, I think, more of a sense that they're involved, they're part of it.
Outside of the window, your face is all I've ever known.
I love the fast pace, and I'm really kind of a social media nut job. This is with me everywhere I go. So Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, even video now. I do a Freakout weekly. Either Donnie, my producer, or I invariably are tweeting, Facebooking, on Pinterest, doing music news on the website. You're moving at that kind of pace.
Most of what I do on there is promotion of the station, is promotion of the show, guests I'm going to have on, that kind of stuff. I'll throw questions out there that I'll use as topics. So I try to use Twitter certainly as a vehicle. Facebook, to an extent, but you get more, I think, out of it on Twitter.
I was the first person in the Philadelphia market to integrate the web into my radio show. AOL had chat rooms, and you could set up a chat room. So if a guest was coming in, some rock star was coming in, I would set up a chat room so that people could fire questions in the chat room, and I would go, well, Bob in Poughkeepsie wants to say this, is asking this question.
5 or 6 years ago, we did a lot of event marketing, we did a lot of on-air advertising, and then we really had the digital emergence where we were doing more and more with clients online. And it started very basic, where clients were wanting to have some presence on our website, and it's evolved pretty significantly to the point where now when we build campaigns for our clients, they're really multidimensional. And so we have a campaign that might start on air, and the on-air message might send them to the website, and then the website has them enter to win something, creating a database. And with that database, we take their information and send out an email blast that invites them to a specific event happening in their area. So we have a lot of tools now to reach the target consumer and have them hear the message that we intend them to hear.
We get a lot more people at work now that can't call in, they can Facebook us. So we gauged into a lot wider audience. I
Oh,
think.
the coolest thing of all is people that listen online. And it's funny because the minute anything happens with that stream, they're hysterical. They really count on us to be there on their computer, at work, at home, wherever. And it's really fun to interact with them. And of course, they can come from all over the world.
There's a difference, I think, an inherent difference in how our audiences engage with the tools. And so, you know, when you have something like a sports talk format, that audience is very engaged. They just are, because everything that's happening is so relevant and in the moment.
I think it lends itself to sports radio because you can throw something out there and you're going to get opinions, you're going to get a lot of feedback. A lot of times in my show, I'll talk about, hey, you know, I had a Twitter debate with someone about this, or we talked about this, or somebody posed that, and I use it as, to me, it's fertile ground, man. I mean, absolutely.
We want to get something that grabs the eye very quickly, or grabs the ear very quickly. You know, Ben FM is a music-intensive station. We want to get in and get out. Nobody gets hurt. We want to keep the music rolling. So it's taught me, actually, how to be more economical.
My job was basically created for me. Like, there has never been a social media editor. And I think the whole social media editing position is new at all the stations, basically. They knew that there was another audience out there to be reached, so they basically had to put someone in charge of it, so they were controlling the message they were sending out.
Breaking news as well. You can get your breaking news right away instead of looking in a newspaper. Stuff that might have been 6 hours old, you can get it right away on Facebook, Twitter, like she said, Pinterest.
While you're learning the specifics of the story, you can take a picture and tweet the photo or Facebook it and say, here's what the scene looks like, which is new. Instead of, nobody has to wait until the 6 o'clock news or for it to air on the radio. You're sort of telling the story slowly, but with photos and tidbits.
My name is Gerard Dabney, and I'm the program director of Temple University's student-run radio station, WHIP. With us being an internet radio station, we aren't on the terrestrial radio. We don't get as many listeners as an AM or FM station that has listeners just by default because they are on the dial. So we have listeners that tune in just because they know the on-air personalities or because, you know, they are affiliated with Temple, but anybody outside of that realm isn't really listening to us. But if they follow us on Twitter, they have the ability to connect through friends of friends, so we gain followers through that.
Cole, you're on the line. Hello! Is this Megan from Mayfair?
We love to use social media to promote our show. We use Twitter, Fired Up with John. What is our Twitter handle?
Fired Up WHIP.
WHIP. At Fired Up WHIP. Hey, Johnny, come support the Relay for Life at Temple University on April 5th at 6 p.m.
There's not a lot of promotion for our show, and we'd have to do it all ourselves.
It's a lot of our doing ourselves, both the promotion and the on-air stuff.
Booking
and
the guests.
Behind the stuff.
It's very, James and I run the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's no help.
There's new ways to connect through Facebook, through social networking.
We do kinds of giveaways if we have that.
Twitter follower of the week.
Twitter follower of the week. We do all kinds of stuff where we try and incorporate that into our show.
A lot of radio stations are up on that, and people who aren't up on that is kind of left in the dust. When it comes to radio, I think video is really important. People really want to see, for some reason, what's going on inside of a radio station. They want to see the mics, they want to see the boards, they want to see the guests.
We podcast a lot of our shows so people can, you know, listen to it on demand. We video a lot of our content so people can watch it on demand. And that's just that's a natural response to how people consume media these days.
Three and a half years ago, we said, you know, we would like to do more video. We would occasionally have an intern come in and maybe shoot a little bit of a recap video, and we'd see the finished product in 3.5 weeks, and you'd post it on your website. And we started developing a plan on how we can be better at it, where there was really no video experts in the radio station. You know, we're primarily an audio medium, but what we see is that there is an increasing desire and usefulness for video in what we do.
We figured, let's see what we could do as far as bringing cameras into the studio. And basically, never the mindset to be, hey, let's put on a TV show, let's make a TV show of the radio show.
We did do a fair amount of research into how much is enough for now, and then how much can we add to that so our video equipment doesn't become obsolete in 3 or 4 years. We brought in a couple of consultants from Boston. They kind of surveyed the studio, some of the lighting issues that we have, because it's not a TV studio, and we've got lots of windows with natural light coming in.
So the idea was to get cameras and you know, and not ever be worried if if a microphone was blocking someone's face or it wasn't quite lit right. You know, that you'd really get the experience of what it's like to see the show on television, and basically distill that 30 hours of radio down to a half hour of a best-of show.
And Nick Murphy, who is our intern, our video intern, worked his way into a part-time and then a full-time job, and has been able to help lead the way in capturing, editing, and distributing this daily video feature that we are going to roll out publicly.
So what I do is I kind of oversee all the video stuff that we do at the station. So filming interviews, filming band performances, any kind of stunts or events that the station does, I'll film and capture that to put it on internally for our own website, also on YouTube, and then we also have a deal with Comcast that we put stuff on demand as well. And then right now we're looking to broaden that with some new equipment, so really exciting time to be doing video stuff for a radio station, which sounds like a made-up thing, but it's real.
There's the TriCaster, which is the heart and soul of the system, and a lot of colleges and universities use it for like television.
This right here is the TriCaster. What it is, it's like a video switcher. We have 8 different camera inputs that we use to film the show, so we'll film the entire show. And each cast member of the show has a camera set on them. You know, we can cut together interviews, musical performances, or like a stunt if they do. We have like a mobile camera that we can take out. So really the essence of it is we have all these tools to capture the show and capture visually what the show is bringing to the table every day.
We've got a huge editing bay in the adjacent room that allows for very quick editing on Final Cut Pro. And we also have Wi-Fi wireless capability for the 2 shoulder mount cameras that allow us to go out and through either 4G or Wi-Fi beam that signal back to the radio station live for live webcam use, or for it to just be recorded and for it to be posted after the show for some, you know, future distribution.
People just want things when they want it. Things move too fast. You can't schedule your life around a television show or a radio program or a CD release. You know, it's like I want it when I want it, and you as a provider need to accommodate that.
Everything, whether it be the podcast or whether it be the website, it all serves the purpose of circulating back to the most important thing that we do, which is put on a radio show. So everything that feeds back to the radio show is good. Providing listeners more options to consume the show and to use the show is just something that we want to do. The more and our mission is always to try to provide free content and free options. And you know, and that's what we're looking to do here with the TV.
When you see the way people connect, I mean, just our cluster alone, I'm always grateful when people connect and say, thank you, Marilyn. You know, thank you, Ben.
What initially drew me to radio was the fact that you can connect with so many people at one time.
It's unique, it's special, you feel like they're your friends, you want to hang out with people.
It really has more to do with the audience than it does to do with radio. I mean, radio has always been sort of consistent in what it is it does. You find your audience and you talk to them.
I think that everything is continually evolving, and now more than ever, and at a very quick pace.
I think you're going to see more venues like Twitter. I think there's going to be more outlets for people, which is a good thing, I think. And I think that you're going to see programs and shows incorporated a lot more. than they do now.
We're going to do what MMR has done and what we've done for the past couple of years, which is embrace technology. Don't run from it. How can we use it? How can we use it to serve the radio show and make it work for us? And we're always out ahead of the curve on this stuff, and we always benefit by doing that. How do we turn this into something that works for the listener?
And our connection to the community is still the most important asset of the radio station.
You can have a lot of tools, but if you don't have an idea on how to best get your message across, it's going to be hard to select the ones that are best. But if you do, then it's like the world is your oyster kind of thing.
Some news for your son. It don't matter where you're from. It ain't a bit okay.